For over 2 decades, we've watched the Roloff family navigate life, love, and loss. We've seen them build an empire and we've seen the cracks begin to form. But what you are about to hear is a story that has been developing in the shadows, away from the prying eyes of the TLC cameras. A story of a secret rebellion, a shocking power play, and a betrayal so profound it threatens to burn the entire Roloff legacy to the ground. Tonight on LPBW Update, we expose the unconfirmed insider report that is sending shockwaves through the reality TV world. We're not just talking about the end of an era. We're talking about a civil war, because our sources are reporting that Amy Roloff and Chris Marek are about to announce a shocking new spinoff show without the kids on a rival network in a move that the rest of the family is calling a total, unforgivable betrayal. Hello and welcome back to LPBW Update, your #1 source for the stories the network doesn't want you to see. What we have for you today is the culmination of weeks of deep dive investigation, connecting clues and piecing together whispers from industry insiders. The narrative that has emerged is more dramatic than anything you've seen on Little People, Big World. This isn't just about a new show. This is about an escape plan, a declaration of independence. For years, we've watched Amy Roloff struggle to find her place after her divorce from Matt. We saw her navigate the treacherous waters of the family farm, constantly caught in the crossfire of her ex-husband's ambitions and her children's frustrations. Then along came Chris Marek, a steady, reliable presence. But what if Chris wasn't just a new husband? What if he was her partner in a clandestine operation to break free from the Roloff drama once and for all? The exclusive theory we are presenting tonight is that Amy and Chris have been secretly pitching their own travel and cooking show, a project that completely bypasses TLC and the entire Roloff family structure. This isn't a friendly spinoff. This is a mutiny, and the fallout will be catastrophic. We have all the exclusive details, the mounting evidence, and the predicted reactions from a family on the brink of collapse. But before we pull back the curtain on this shocking conspiracy, we need your help to keep bringing you these exclusive reports. If you believe there's more to the story than what TLC is showing you, if you're ready for the unfiltered truth, then take 1 second and hit that like button. And make sure you are subscribed to LPBW Update and have turned on notifications. You are not going to want to miss a single update on this developing story, because what we're about to reveal changes everything. To understand the magnitude of this betrayal, we first have to understand the motive. Why would Amy, the matriarch of the Roloff family, orchestrate such a daring move? The answer is simple. She's been living in a pressure cooker for the last decade and is about to explode. Let's rewind. The central conflict of modern Little People, Big World has been the farm. Roloff Farms isn't just a piece of land. It's a character in the show. It's the source of their wealth, their fame, and now their deepest divisions. After the divorce, Amy made the painful decision to sell her half of the farm to Matt, a decision she has openly and repeatedly expressed regret over. She felt pushed out, disrespected, and ultimately erased from the legacy she helped build. We all watched the heart-wrenching negotiations. We saw Karen Chandler, Matt's partner and former farm manager, increasingly taking on a matriarchal role in a home that was once Amy's. For Amy, every visit to the farm became a painful reminder of what she had lost. But the true breaking point, our theory suggests, was the feud between Matt and his son, Zach. When negotiations for Zach to buy a portion of the farm collapsed in a spectacular, bitter failure, the family was fractured. Zach and Tori publicly accused Matt of putting money before family, of refusing to give them a handout that was actually, in their view, a fair family deal for their birthright. Where was Amy in all of this? Caught in the middle. torn between her loyalty to her son and her complicated, legally bound history with her ex-husband. On camera, she tried to remain diplomatic, but behind the scenes, sources have suggested she was deeply distressed. She saw the family she had built, her life's work, disintegrating over the very thing that was supposed to hold them together. This is the backdrop for the escape plan. Amy, with Chris by her side, realized that as long as they were tied to Little People, Big World, they would be forever tied to the farm drama. Every season would require them to relitigate the past, to comment on the Matt-Zach-Corinne triangle, and to be secondary characters in a story of endless conflict. Chris Marek, an outsider, saw this with fresh eyes. He wasn't emotionally tethered to the farm's history. What he saw was his wife, Amy, being put through an emotional ringer for a paycheck. Our insider report suggests that it was Chris who first planted the seed. What if we didn't have to do this? What if we could build something of our own, on our own terms? This wasn't just about starting a new chapter. It was about escaping a toxic environment. The proposed spinoff isn't a fun side project. It's a lifeline. It's a way for Amy to reclaim her own narrative, to build a new legacy that has nothing to do with Roloff Farm's Matt Roloff or the painful family dynamics she so desperately wants to leave behind. She's not just leaving the show, she's escaping the prison of her past. So what exactly is this secret show? Based on compiled reports from production insiders and industry whispers, we have pieced together a remarkably detailed picture of the project Amy and Chris have been shopping around. The working title, we're told, is something along the lines of Amy and Chris's Culinary Escape, or The Next Chapter. The concept is a brilliant fusion of their two greatest passions, Amy's cooking and Chris's love for travel and motorcycles. Imagine this. Each episode begins with Chris planning a scenic motorcycle route to a unique destination in the Pacific Northwest, or perhaps even across the country. He's the navigator, the adventurer, the one pushing them toward new horizons. The journey itself is a major part of the show. Sweeping drone shots of them on the open road, a symbol of their freedom from the confines of the farm. When they arrive at their destination, a quirky coastal town, a remote mountain cabin, a bustling farmer's market, Amy takes over. Using local ingredients, she discovers, she puts her Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen brand to the ultimate test. She's not just cooking in her pristine kitchen at home. She's adapting, improvising, and creating delicious meals in new and challenging environments. It's part travelogue, part cooking show, and part relationship story. The core appeal and the reason a rival network would be so interested is that it's an entirely fresh concept that still leverages the massive built-in LPBW audience. It's a story of second chances. A 60-year-old woman, a reality TV icon, reinventing her life with her new husband. It's optimistic, it's aspirational, and most importantly, it's completely detached from the negativity that has begun to plague the original show. Now, for the most explosive detail, the network. Our sources claim they did not pitch this to TLC. This was a calculated, strategic move. Pitching to TLC would have meant navigating a minefield of contractual obligations and, most importantly, family politics. Matt Roloff, as an executive producer on LPBW, would have likely had some say. The network would have tried to force crossovers with the main family, defeating the entire purpose of the escape. Instead, they allegedly went straight to a major competitor. We're talking about networks like the Food Network, Magnolia Network, or even a streaming giant like Discovery Plus or Hulu. These networks specialize in exactly this type of personality-driven food and travel content. For them, landing Amy Roloff would be a massive coup, stealing a beloved star from a long-running franchise and using her to launch a new hit. The meetings were reportedly held in the utmost secrecy. NDAs were signed. The project was developed off the books. Amy and Chris used their own resources to create a sizzle reel, a short concept video, to prove the show's potential. They knew that if word of this got out before a deal was signed, the backlash from both the family and TLC could kill the project before it ever began. This was a high-stakes gamble, a covert operation designed to secure their future before their past could sabotage it. Now, you might be thinking, this is a fantastic story, but where is the proof? This is where our investigation goes into overdrive. When you start looking for the clues, they are everywhere. Amy and Chris have been leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for months, hiding their master plan in plain sight. Clue number 1, the social media subterfuge. Let's start with Instagram, the modern-day conspirator's diary. Look at Amy and Chris's feeds over the past year. They are filled with photos from their motorcycle trips. We see them in Bend, Oregon. We see them on the coast. We see them exploring new towns. On the surface, it's just a happy couple enjoying their retirement. But look closer. Many of Amy's posts are heavily focused on food. She's not just posting selfies. She's posting pictures of local produce, unique restaurant dishes, and often she ends a travel post with, "Can't wait to try and make this in my little kitchen." These aren't just vacation snaps. They are, we theorize, low-key market research. They are test runs for potential episode concepts, gauging audience reaction to their travel and food adventures. Then there's the language. Amy's captions are often filled with phrases like new beginnings, loving our journey, exploring new roads, and so excited for what's next. These are vague, positive affirmations, but when viewed through the lens of a secret spinoff, they take on a powerful double meaning. She is literally and figuratively on a new journey, exploring a new road to a new career. Clue number 2, on-screen foreshadowing in LPBW. Go back and watch the last 2 seasons of Little People, Big World. The producers may not have known about the secret spinoff, but they absolutely documented the seeds of it. How many scenes have we seen of Chris meticulously planning a motorcycle trip? How many times has the show focused on Amy's passion for cooking, culminating in her wedding to Chris, where her own cooking was a central theme? There was a key scene a while back where Chris and Amy discussed their future. Chris talked about his desire to travel more, to see the country, and to show Amy a life beyond the farm. At the time, it seemed like a sweet, romantic conversation. But in hindsight, was it a conversation or a pitch? Were they testing the waters, planting the idea of a travel-based life into the minds of the audience? It's classic television foreshadowing, whether intentional or not. They were laying the groundwork for their exit, making the audience comfortable with the idea of Amy and Chris on the road. Clue number 3, the Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen brand. Amy's online cooking brand and cookbook aren't just a hobby. They are the foundation of her new empire. For years, she has been carefully cultivating a brand separate from the Roloff name. It's her name, her kitchen. This was step 1 in her declaration of economic and personal independence. This spinoff is not a sudden idea. It's the logical conclusion of her long-term business strategy. First, build the brand. Second, build the audience. Third, leverage that brand and audience into a major media project that she controls. She watched Matt leverage the farm into a multi-million-dollar business. Now she's leveraging her own talent, her cooking, into her own enterprise. The spinoff is the final brilliant move in a long game of chess. Clue number 4, the increasing distance. Perhaps the most telling clue is the non-digital one, the visible and emotional distance between Amy, Chris, and the rest of the family. While the show still brings them together for forced, awkward gatherings, their real lives seem to be drifting apart. Zach and Tori are absorbed in their own world in battleground Washington, dealing with their own children and the fallout with Matt. Jeremy and Audrey are busy building their own homesteading influencer empire. And Matt and Corinne are firmly planted at the farm. Amy and Chris are the only ones who seem to be constantly on the move, exploring and building a life that is geographically and emotionally separate from the Roloff vortex. This isn't an accident. Our theory contends that this is a deliberate, strategic uncoupling. They are showing the world and any interested network executives that they have a compelling story to tell that stands on its own. They don't need the kids or the farm to be interesting. In fact, their story is more interesting without them. When you put all these pieces together, the social media posts, the on-screen foreshadowing, the brand building, and the physical distance, the picture becomes crystal clear. This isn't a baseless rumor. It's a well-supported theory of a meticulously planned escape. If and when this news breaks, fallout won't be a strong enough word. What we are predicting is a full-blown Roloff Civil War, with battle lines drawn and alliances shattered. The betrayal will be felt on multiple fronts, and it will be deeply personal. Let's start with the patriarch, Matt Roloff. His reaction will likely be a complex mixture of business fury and personal hurt. From a business perspective, Matt is the architect of the LPBW brand. He sees the show, the farm, and the family as an interconnected enterprise. Amy launching a competing show on a rival network is a direct assault on his empire. He will see it as her devaluing the little people, big world brand. It splits the audience. It creates competition for viewers and advertising dollars. It suggests that the original show is no longer compelling enough on its own. To a shrewd businessman like Matt, this is corporate sabotage orchestrated by his ex-wife. And then there's the personal sting. For all their conflict, Matt has always, in his own way, seen himself as the provider and protector of the family's public image. Amy going behind his back and behind the back of the network that made them famous will feel like the ultimate act of disrespect. He'll likely vent his frustrations to Corinne, who will no doubt fan the flames, seeing it as Amy once again trying to undermine Matt. We predict a series of passive-aggressive, or perhaps just aggressive, social media posts about loyalty, business ethics, and people who forget where they came from. The blindsided heirs, Zach and Tori. Perhaps the most painful betrayal will be felt by Zach and Tori. For the past few years, they have become the emotional core of Little People, Big World. They are the next generation, the heir apparents to the Roloff reality TV throne. They carried the show through the farm feud, sharing their lives, their children, and their medical struggles with the world. For them to learn that their own mother and stepfather went behind their backs to launch a new show would be devastating. They would see it as Amy abandoning them in the family show at its most vulnerable point. It steals their spotlight. Just as they are stepping up to be the new faces of the franchise, Amy creates a shiny new object to distract the audience. The feeling of betrayal would be immense. Why didn't she tell us? Why didn't she include us? After everything we've been through with Dad, she does this? These are the questions that will be running through their minds. It creates a new massive rift in the family. While they were fighting a war with Matt, they felt like Amy was plotting a secret coup. This could irreparably damage the relationship between Zach and his mother, a relationship that has already been under immense strain. The shadow family, Jeremy and Audrey. Now, let's turn to the family members who are no longer on the show, but are very much in the business of being public figures, Jeremy and Audrey Roloff. Their reaction will be one of pure, unfiltered jealousy. Since leaving LPBW, Jeremy and Audrey have worked tirelessly to build their own brand. They have their Beating 50% marriage ministry, their books, their oils, their clothing line, and their constant efforts to become the next Chip and Joanna Gaines. A key part of their ambition, many speculate, has always been to return to television, but on their own terms, with their own show about their homesteading life. They've pitched ideas before, they've tried to leverage their fame into a new media project, and now to see their mother, Amy, and her new husband, Chris, swoop in and potentially land the very thing they have been dreaming of, the bitterness will be overwhelming. They will see it as Amy and Chris effortlessly achieving what they have struggled for years to get. They will see it as a generational slap in the face. They chose to leave the family show to build their own thing, and now the family they left is launching new projects without them. It validates their decision to leave, but also highlights their inability to replicate the same level of success on their own. The resentment toward Amy and Chris could be even more intense than that of the family members still on the show. The network's revenge, the role of TLC. Finally, we cannot forget the network that started it all, TLC. A network doesn't invest 25 seasons in a family just to have its matriarch jump ship to a competitor. They will view this as the ultimate breach of faith. There will be frantic calls between executives. Lawyers will be scrutinizing contracts, looking for non-compete clauses or any legal leverage they can use to stop this. At best, they will immediately begin plotting the end of Little People, Big World. If Amy is gone and the relationship with Zach is already strained, the show is on life support. They may try to rush out a final dramatic season centered around this very betrayal. At worst, this could get legally ugly. TLC could threaten lawsuits, attempting to block the new show from ever airing. This would force Amy and Chris into a costly legal battle, turning their dream escape into a financial nightmare. The betrayal isn't just a family matter, it's a corporate one, and corporations have long memories and deep pockets. So what does this all mean? When you zoom out and look at the entire picture, this secret spinoff is more than just a TV show. It is Amy Roloff's Declaration of Independence. For her entire public life, Amy's identity has been defined by others. She was Matt's wife. She was the mother of the Roloff children. She was the co-owner of Roloff Farms. She was a star on a TLC show. Each of these roles came with expectations, limitations, and obligations. The divorce was the first step in her liberation, but it was an incomplete one. She was still economically and narratively tied to Matt and the farm through the show. The show itself became a golden cage. It provided financial security, but it kept her locked in a cycle of past grievances. This spinoff, this culinary escape, is her final, definitive break from that cage. It's a statement that says, I am not just a Roloff, I am Amy. My story is not over, and from now on, I will be the one to write it. Chris Marek is the catalyst. He is the partner who gave her the confidence to believe in a future that she could build for herself. He is not a Roloff. His identity is not tied to the farm. His presence allowed her to see a path forward that didn't involve her ex-husband or the family drama. This act, if our reports are true, will mark the definitive end of Little People, Big World, as we know it. The original premise of the show was a family united against the world. The new reality is a family divided, competing against each other for fame, fortune, and control of their own narrative. The farm feud was the first crack in the foundation. This spinoff is the earthquake that brings the whole house down. And it leaves us with so many questions that will define the future of this family. Can Matt and Zach ever reconcile, or will this new conflict drive them further apart? Will Zach and Tori feel forced to quit the show in solidarity? Or will they try to carry the torch alone? Will Jeremy and Audrey see this as a reason to finally speak out and air their own grievances? And the biggest question of all, will Amy and Chris's gamble pay off? Will their escape lead them to the freedom and success they crave? Or will the ensuing war with their family and their old network prove to be a price too high to pay? The Roloff family saga is at a turning point. The story we've presented tonight, based on unconfirmed insider reports and our own exclusive analysis, paints a picture of a family on the verge of a schism unlike any we have ever seen. A secret show, a rival network, and a devastating betrayal. This is no longer just a story about a family on a pumpkin farm. It has evolved into a high-stakes thriller about legacy, loyalty, and the pursuit of freedom. The days of simple family squabbles are over. We are now entering the era of the Roloff Civil War. We will be following every development, every cryptic social media post, and every whisper from inside the industry. The story is far from over, and we are dedicated to bringing you the updates that you won't find anywhere else. Thank you for joining us on LPBW Update. To make sure you are on the front lines for every breaking detail of this story, make sure you have liked this video, subscribed to the channel, and rung that notification bell. Let us know your theories in the comments below. Who do you think is in the right? Do you believe Amy and Chris are making a brilliant move or a heartless one? And what do you think will happen next? The Roloff empire was built in front of the cameras, and now it may be about to crumble in the very same way. We'll be watching.